My name's Lorien from Cornwall. I started smoking when I was about 12 at school with friends, and in total really I suppose I smoked up until my early 30s. I don't know if I could say how many quit attempts. I tried more times than I can remember. Tried the gum and the patches. The patches made me feel really sick, so I had to stop using those. I read the book. The only time it actually worked, my only quit attempt, was I quit just before I fell pregnant, my first pregnancy. So that worked for 3 years, I quit then. But then I relapsed, just had a really, really bad week. It just comes back to you like an old friend. It's just the easiest thing in the world to do. And then, yeah, everyone since then, it's been a couple of days at best. It was always an excuse when you go back. It would be because I was stressed or upset about something, but ultimately I think it was regaining my identity. What I really, really struggled with was how much I had to change in order to be a non-smoker. And I think in the end that's what made me stop trying to stop. So what changed for me is I had a moment with my eldest son. He was 11 at the time, and his best friend's mum had come round to see me because she'd caught her son smoking, and so she'd grounded him, and that ended up with the two of them having a huge row because she smoked and he thought she was being a hypocrite, and how dare she tell him that he can't go out and smoke cigarettes. And whilst I was having this conversation with her and working out how to talk to him and then what I was going to say to my son, I was boiling the kettle to make coffee and rolling a cigarette to go outside and smoke and talk about this with her. And I suddenly realised what a ridiculous hypocrite I was. And I think at that point I really realised that, that I accept that people might smoke, but when you look at an 11-year-old actually fighting with his mum, and I think that was it. That night I sat down with my husband and said that it's got to change, we've got to do something. And that's when I kind of picked up the advice I'd been given about going online and looking at vaporisers. I first heard about e-cigarettes in 2012. My boss at the restaurant I worked at, her and her husband used them. And I remember thinking how cool they looked because they were all kind of steampunky in these glass tanks, and she was explaining about all these different flavours like candy floss and stuff, which for me was really appealing. And then, yeah, just kind of went for it, bought one for me and one for my husband. And that's kind of where it all started. I think when I first bought it, my plan was just to see. I think I needed to know that I was doing something extra, that I was making an effort. I don't know if I expected it to work. I was kind of looking forward to trying and to having a new piece of kit. I think I'm not sure what I expected to happen. So when it got here and I put it all together and I charged it, and then I went in the garden, and the first lungful it worked. It made sense. It was tasty. The sensation was similar, but the exhale was there, so I could see something coming out of my mouth, and it was cool and it was geeky. And I literally went back in the house and threw all my tobacco stuff in the bin. And the day that it arrived and I tried it was the last day I had a cigarette, and I haven't looked back since, and we're coming up to nearly 4 years. So in terms of flavours of e-liquids, I started with sweet flavours straight away because I didn't want to do something that was similar. I wanted to try completely different. So all of the flavours of e-liquids I bought were very sweet, and desserts. And complex, like really it's quite amazing. You've got people making these really complex flavours, so it's not just banana or just blueberry, it's like a whole pudding with custard and things. And once you start getting into that and seeing how much there is out there, it keeps your interest going. I ended up with maybe 100 different flavours at one point, and that's the kind of fun thing about it. There is so much stuff out there and it's so creative that it keeps you interested. So if I had to give one bit of advice to a smoker, it would be to not be afraid of vaping. Don't be scared off by the stuff that you read in the media. Don't be scared off by all your other quit attempts, which are stressful and upsetting and all of that stuff. Vaping's fun, and it's meant to be fun, and you can enjoy it. And that's probably the most important thing, is actually just enjoy your process and your journey.